Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mills and today I'm going to go through books that deserve more hype. I read so many books a year. We're on 188 that I've read this year so far, and I think some of the books I've read and loved have been highly underrated. So let's dive in. The first one I want to talk to you about is Thornbird by E. Kennedy. Now, this is the L. Kennedy who wrote the Off Campus series, and I feel like she's been getting a lot of traction for Off Campus, but this is her first psychological thriller, and I don't think people are talking about it enough. So you meet this girl called Ryan. She's gone back to her small hometown, she's got a different surname, and she's pretending to be somebody different, and that's because her father is a serial killer. He's in prison, he's about to get the electric chair, or maybe the injection, I can't remember which. He's about to be removed from the world in one way or the other. And she finds herself in a situation that he's started to write her letters, and she's trying to find out more information from him, because if she can crack what her father did, she can hopefully give people some closure. So make sure you definitely add this one to your TBR. I love the fact it has mixed media in it as well. So there's this website where people are trying to solve more about his case. It's called Free the Sparrows, because of course he calls these girls his sparrows, which is a little bit creepy. And then you also have messages that he's written her. So he's written her letters from prison, and honestly, they give me the heebie-jeebies. So make sure you check this one out, because I think it's highly underrated. It's a standalone. It's super easy to read. It does fall into the YA category, but I'd probably say it's a little bit scary. So maybe for ages 14, 50 and plus, but definitely needs to be straight away on your TBR. Then I feel like To Cage a Wild Bird by Brooke Fast. Maybe it's more popular in America, but I don't feel like in the UK I'm seeing many people talk about this book. And if you love a dystopian romance, if you love Maze Runner, Divergent, Hunger Games, this is so good. So in this world, when people misbehave, they're sent to prison, but it's not a normal prison. Rich people come to the prison, pick out who they want to chase, and they get to chase you and kill you. If you can make it to this safe point before they kill you, you survive another day. But you can imagine as time goes on, you survive less and less. Like, you can't keep running all your life. You might give up. So this girl is like a little bounty hunter. She's going around collecting people and delivering them to prison for money. So everybody knows her, everybody hates her, she's pretty despised. And then one day her brother gets put in prison, and she has to kind of do a misdemeanor to get herself put in prison. And she may have had a romantic interest with one of the prison guards, and they're trying to escape the prison because they know they can't keep going and being chased and survive it. Like, at some point, people attack you in the prison to try and make you weak. People try and set traps. People are getting bigger weapons the more money they spend. It's going crazy, to say the least. So you definitely want to get to Cage a Wild Bird on your TBR, because this book is so good. The only problem is we are waiting for book 2 to come out, but I feel like the way it ends was a perfect ending to kind of hold you in place until the next book appears on our list. I also feel like I haven't seen much about Half City by Kate Golden, and I adored this book. It's about a girl who lives in a world where she's hunting demons, and she thinks she's the only one. Her father taught her how to hunt demons at a young age, and then he got unalived by demons. And she didn't realise that people, when they reach a certain age, come into their power, and there's an academy they all go to train to become the best demon hunters. And she's like, well, why did I get my powers younger? Why did my father not tell me about this? He went to this college. Why was he keeping it a secret? And even more so, why am I drawn to my professor who is a demon? Just saying. It feels like it's set in somewhere like New York, the way they ride the trains. I absolutely love this. Again, patiently waiting for book 2 to come out, because I think it is a duology, but demon hunting is hell, and it's a hell of a good time when you read this. I feel like a lot of people talk about Kate Golden's completed trilogy and that she is the queen of cliffhangers, but I don't feel like I've seen as much on Half City, and I'm really sad because I ate this up in a day. Then we have Beautiful Graves by LJ Shen. I think I know the reason this one isn't being talked about enough, and it's because it isn't dual point of view. It's all from one character's point of view, and a lot of people don't love that, myself included. However, the trauma in this story was beautiful. So this girl meets a guy when she's younger, she's on holiday, she's travelling, they have this whirlwind romance, they call themselves boyfriend, girlfriend, and then they never speak again, and you don't know why. So you've got this past timeline encroaching her current timeline, and in her current timeline she's dating this really nice guy, he seems like he's got his life sorted, and when those two timelines meet and collide, you are not ready for the destruction, you are not ready for the revelations that come from this story, because my goodness, did this destroy me. I love this so much. I definitely recommend everyone gets on the TBR, but just bear in mind going in, it's not dual point of view. You do have to wait for the two timelines to collide, but you're going to be obsessed with it. Then we have the Dance with the Demon series by Steph Macker. This is such a good series. Maybe the cover puts people off, but I feel like you have a spicy good time with this. It's set in a psychiatric, I'm going to call it a prison, I can't even call it hospital, but they are locked in their rooms. This girl's gone there and she gets involved with 3 guys. Maybe just 1 at first, then maybe 2, then maybe it develops to 3, but there's this whole traumatic backstory. I think if you were just to read the first book, you wouldn't be as connected to the characters. You think it's a little bit creepy. Like, they do have a little bit of fun time in a morgue. Like, you might think, I don't know what I'm reading here, but if you constantly read this series, persevere with it, it is totally worth it. I think because it's indie published, I haven't seen many people talk about this, but I love Steph Macker, and every time she writes something, I just want to read it because it's so unhinged. It's so good. I'm going to talk about this book. I think I'm going to talk about this book until the end of time. This is You and Me Forever by Laura Pavlov, and I'm obsessed with him. I'm obsessed with this character, Miles St. James. Oh, ultimate book boyfriend for me. But I think because this is indie published and Laura Pavlov has had a few trad published books, maybe this one just isn't as well known, and maybe the cover's putting people off. I don't know. But you have this girl called Montana. She lives in her small hometown. She's a wedding planner, and she uses this local like B&B hotel for her weddings, and then Miles comes into town. He's bought it and he's gonna knock it down, and she thinks he's gonna build this like atrocious, huge, ugly hotel that doesn't fit their small town vibes. Learn to speak Mills today. However, she's had a bit of a half one night fling with him by mistake until she realizes he is the Miles St. James who she's meant to despise, and I absolutely love this. The second book in the series is great as well, but for me, You, Me and Forever, oh, was just perfection. The second book follows her best friend who she works in the business with, but you definitely need to get this one on your TBR if you just love a small town romance with that forbidden chemistry. This one is so good. I also have to put The Kiss Thief by LJ Shen on the list. I feel like a lot of people have read this because I've told them to, but I don't feel like people are picking it up. Maybe it's been out for a little bit of time. I'm not sure when it was published, but 2019, so I don't feel like that's too long. But this book, oh, the destruction. It's a standalone as well, so if you haven't tried LJ Shen, it's a really good place to start. It's about a girl who has always thought she's going to marry this man who's in the Italian mafia world, and she shares her first kiss with him, or so she thought it was him, but it's someone else wearing a mask, and she always said whoever she shared her first kiss with, she'd marry, and she's forced into a marriage with Senator Keaton, and oh, he is vile. There is one scene in particular, probably about halfway through this book, that just destroyed my soul. I sobbed for days thinking about it, and it was so beautiful the way it ties the story together. But if you like mafia but you don't want it to be too mafia influenced, this one just has like a nod towards the mafia family that she's a part of, and I could not put this book down, so I highly recommend it. Then we have The Fabric of Our Souls by K.M. Moronova. I feel like everybody talks about K.M. Moronova for her dark romantasy, for her dark military, and this one isn't mentioned as much, but this was the first K.M. Moronova book I ever picked up. It's about a girl called Win who has tried to take her life unsuccessfully, and her brother puts her in this psychiatric hospital where she meets this guy who she has to share a room with. I really think it's weird that they have these mixed gender rooms, and she starts realizing he is holding secrets, like something's gone on in this centre that she doesn't know about. The ending, oh, of all endings, will destroy you. But if you want a book that's like emotionally heartbreaking, I remember tabbing this book at like certain bits, and it always makes me laugh. Like, Remedum meum, he murmurs, a breath away from my lips, smiling as he gently runs his finger up my arms. I take a deep breath of his crisp scent and quirk a brow. I don't speak Latin, but I've watched enough horror movies to know that anyone who does is either a hardcore Catholic or into occult stuff. Neither option is great for me. Remember our promise. I just love all of the quotes in this book that I have pinned because they just feel so good to me, so pick this one up. Then we have the Dear Reader series. So this is called The Devil's Backbone Society, and my goodness, this trilogy, I feel like I really have to force people to read this, and then they pick it up and they're like, yes, Mills, you're right, it's amazing. It's Secret Society, it's Why Choose, it's traumatic. I don't know if you'll be fully healed when you finish it, but it's one of my favourite series I've ever read, and I love Tate James. Everybody knows Tate James for the Madison Kate series and other books, but this one to me absolutely is the winner. It's about a girl who's gone to university with her stepbrother and his friends. She joins a secret society and it all just starts going wrong. What can I say? Absolutely 5-star read. You will be sobbing your eyes out. There's loads of videos of me on the internet sobbing my eyes out at this, and I just loved it. You can't tell where the story's going to go. You get attached to all the characters. You see in the Why Choose elements why she needs each person, and the combination of that, just perfection. I did go through a massive dark academia phase last year when I read this, and this was still the winner for me every time I picked up a new book. This one was still winning time and time again. And last but by no means least, we're going to go with historical fiction. I can't stop talking about The Women by Kristen Hanna, and I think everybody needs to read this. It's set during the Vietnamese War. It's following women who go to the war, they work on the front line, they are nurses, they save lives, they heal people, they patch them back together so they can get them home, and it's the way they were treated during the war and once they returned is shocking. And I think everybody needs to know this history a little bit more because it is truthful. It has beautiful romance interwoven into the story to make it super easy to digest, but oh, the way I cried at this, the way it broke my heart, the way it tore me apart for what these women have gone through. Every time I read a Kristen Hanna book, she often shows a reflection of women during history, and I get angry. I get so annoyed. So if you haven't read this, it's a standalone. It will change you. And I think every woman who has ever studied history should read Kristen Hanna. She is such a good author, and this should be taught at school. I've been saying it for years. I'm obsessed with this book. So that brings me to the end of the video. That was a quick fire 10 books I think are underrated and enough people aren't talking about on the internet. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you're notified when I post every Sunday. And if you've read all 10, let me know in the comments below. Or if you haven't, let me know if I've convinced you to read any of them. See you next week. Bye, my lovely.